Good afternoon. My name is Will from Cascade3d. We're a data and software company. We provide services and software to the healthcare, the fitness, and the wellbeing industries. Our platform is called
Okay.
Cascade3d Connected Care. It combines smart speakers, medical devices, Amazon Echo Show technology to understand what someone's doing in their own house, to allow caregivers to provide a proactive and preventative approach to their care, especially if I can say it correctly. Because at the moment, the UK has a care crisis, awful lot of people in receipt of care, and an awful lot of gaps in the industry, which technology hopefully can go some way to alleviating. One of the key metrics we're really interested in is the fact that some of our customers have proved that 4 visits a day, four home-based care visits a day, plus a bit of tech, is half the cost of residential care. So that's where we come in, hopefully, to commissioners and other viewers of this webinar, hopefully are interested in seeing what we can provide, because if we can keep people in their own home, safe and happy and independent for a year, 2 years, 5 years extra, it's going to have an impact on that challenge that's in the care industry at the moment. Why would someone need a residential placement when they're living at home? Because I think it's really important to understand why someone goes into a residential placement and if there's anything tech can do to alleviate that from happening for some time, as I've just mentioned. So the three main reasons, according to our customers, because like I said, we spend an awful lot of time talking to our customers across the county councils in the UK. First one is night needs. Is someone unable to cope at night on their own? Is it not safe for them to be left on their own at night? They're going to the toilet too much. They're walking around the place in the dark. They're not going to bed. They're up all day and then becoming a fool's risk the next day because they're so tired. So that's obviously a major concern of safety. Second one is behaviour that challenges. So by this, I mean people that aren't following their care plan, aren't allowing access to their house for care visitors, aren't eating, aren't drinking, just aren't really engaging with the care plan that's been put in front of them. Their behaviour is challenging that. So again, is it safer for them to be cared for in a residential setting? And the last one we've got is about people's level of care. Possibly they're in the wrong kind of environment, the wrong house, the wrong area. It might be the fact that a residential placement's better because it's just simply the care needs are too great for them to stay in their own home. So all of those ones are really serious problems, but can be alleviated with some tech. So what I've done is put together 4 case studies. And the great thing with this is they're not case studies, they're real life events. I've just changed the names and changed some of the circumstances to make them nice and anonymous. But every single one of these case studies is a real live Cascade3d connected care case that happened in the last probably up to 2 years ago. But they're in recent times is how we've helped some of the people around the UK, some of the care agencies around the UK keep people safe and independent in their own homes for a bit longer. Firstly, we have Colin. So Colin lives alone at home. He's got early onset of dementia and he's been receiving 1 care call a week from a social worker to help him with organisational jobs. When that social worker visits, they've noticed that Colin seems to be losing a bit more weight than they'd like to see, but also never has any fresh food in his house. His fridge is empty and there's hardly any evidence of any meal preparation in the house. Which, when they spoke to Colin, he's not worried because he says, I eat out a lot. I go to see friends. I go to see family. I'm always eating out. But he's losing weight. So the care workers obviously raised that as an issue, thinking, OK, we need to look into this rather than just take Colin at his word. Cascade was installed with Colin's permission. Straight away, we could tell by putting some extra sensors around his kitchen, some smart plugs on his appliances. He wasn't doing any cooking at all. And the thing we did notice that was interesting is his fridge was opened all the time. There's nothing in it. He was opening his fridge an awful lot when he was getting back after a visit out. So he was coming in, looking for food, couldn't find anything, going back to the fridge. His dementia was really starting to affect his ability to sort of process, I need some food. Where do I find it? The social workers also checked with his friends, his family, made a few phone calls, and they confirmed the fact that he was visiting them, but wasn't eating anything, which is exactly what the social worker guessed was happening. But they've now got the evidence from Cascade, from the sensors we put in to actually make a change to his care plan. identifying his need, which is the fact that he needed a lunchtime visit every day to bring some hot food to him and leave a sandwich in the fridge for him later on when he gets back from his kind of trip out wherever he's going to go that day. This enabled Colin to stay at home, to keep independent, to keep living the life he wants to live, and still not degenerate, not have problems, not become frailer and weaker because he's not eating. So a good result there. Next, we have Agnes. This case study is really good because it's all about reducing hospital admissions, which is a real hot topic at the moment, isn't it? So Agnes has long-term asthma and diabetes. They cause her really severe illness, and she's hospitalized, as you can see from the slide, an awful lot of time. A lot of it comes from anxiety, because sometimes as she feels like she's becoming unwell, she starts to worry. And obviously the proof is there: when she gets ill, she ends up in hospital. So we spoke to her community matron team who wanted to try some tech in Agnes's house. So what went in was Cascade sensors, Bluetooth medical devices, and an Amazon Echo Show. A matching Amazon Echo Show was also with the community team in the hospital. So Agnes was then able to take her own vital signs readings that would upload to our dashboard. She could then see how her, for example, blood glucose levels were doing and manage that accordingly. The nurse could also see this and be alerted if that level changed dramatically or was starting to change, like an early proactive intervention there. And the Echo Show, as well as displaying the dashboard, enabled Agnes to speak to the nurse. She could press a button, call the nurse, and have a video chat about how she was feeling, which, by the looks of it, severely really helped in terms of reducing her severe anxiety. You can then see the next statistic at the bottom, going down over 4 months from 40 days in hospital to just 3 because of the tech in place. Next, we have Mary. This study is all about right sizing care packages, in this instance increasing it slightly. So Mary lives at home. She has 2 care visits a day to help with food preparation. But her family and care team were becoming concerned because she had been found in town a couple of times, a bit disorientated, a bit lost, and a little bit confused. She'd gone wandering. Family don't live too near, so they were seeing all this from a distance. So we put Cascade in her house with some motion sensors, some door sensors, especially to see when she had gone out. But what was interesting is, rather than actually us focusing on why she was going wandering, it was a reason to stop her going out wandering, which was Mary's a real social person, likes to talk, likes to chat, really enjoys the company of the social workers when they go around and see her, misses her family a lot. The care visits were analysed in terms of door openings and door closings on our dashboard, and the care visits she was receiving for food were really quick, 10 minutes, 20 minutes at the very most. Mary was lonely. She needed someone to stop and talk to her, to provide her with some social interaction each day. So she had sort of ticked that box, which was really important to her, which is, I've had some, interaction with someone today, and I've had a nice chat. That's all she really wanted. So instead of just a visit to prepare some food and go, the care team was asked to stay, chat, have a cup of tea together, and make sure Mary was settled before they left. Almost immediately, the wandering stopped, and it was a great reassurance to the care team, but also her family, that can now log into our dashboard and see exactly where Mary is, just to kind of see how she's getting on and provide a bit more comfort to them. Which leads nicely into our last case study, which is Bob. So this case study is all about supporting informal carers, which is a massive part of what we do. We can open up our data to care teams, to medical practitioners, but also the family, so they can see how someone's getting on, living at home independently. In the case of Bob, Bob's got dementia. He has some really good days and some really bad days, but one of his favourite things is to go out, have a family day out, and see his family and his grandchildren. He has 3 grown-up children that were supporting him, loved doing this, but could occasionally tell that a day out, if Bob wasn't feeling too good, he was perhaps a bit overtired, perhaps his medication hadn't been quite right for a couple of days, was a bit too much for him, and he'd get upset. Not a good day out, day's cancelled, grandchildren are upset, and actually it's probably better keeping him at home. So by having Cascade in, they could start to see what he was doing overnight, start seeing when he was having a settled night, start seeing when actually his behaviour was a bit erratic, and perhaps he could do with a restful day rather than a big day out. And that was the best feedback we had from this, the 3 grown-up children that all took it in turns looking after Bob, just saying that it enabled them to see if he was having a good day and when he'd be happy and ready to go out and socialise, and when actually some days he could do with just staying in quietly and just relaxing and resting. The family even took some of the movement data that Bob we'd assembled. They printed it out from our dashboard. They took it in to see his GP when his GP needed to review his medication, and the GP was overjoyed, saying, here's some data, the fact that he doesn't sleep too well, and we can show you this.